Hey, Nick, we need a tagline for the podcast.
No.
Real life opinions. Movie reviews told by fans and not critics.
So, are we starting now? Are we going to go now?
Yeah, we can go now.
I guess we're going now.
Oh, did you want to do something else? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
So guess what we're doing tonight?
Halloween.
Top 5 Halloween. Love it. We got sound effects now.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do me an old-timey horn. Old-timey horn.
Old-timey horn?
Yeah. Oh, this is taking a while. There we go. Perfect.
We're cool now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like a 1990s morning radio DJ now. Listen to Mike and the Boys on K97. The Beach.
Kind of worked well, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we are doing our top 5 Christmas movies / specials / whatever Christmas themed television programs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Indubitably. I like it.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. So Laura couldn't be with us tonight. A little sad. I mean, she's using the excuse of working a lot. I mean, I think it's just an excuse personally, but
Cue the booze. Where's the booze?
Booze? Oh,
You don't
okay.
have
You didn't
booze
tell me
on-
to get
I thought there
booze.
was booze upstairs.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Okay, we got to get that. That's a
Okay,
good
well,
one.
we're
I'll
getting the
put that
booze
on my
next.
list.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, she works hard. She deserves a break sometimes.
She works hard for her money.
So hard for it, honey.
So you got to treat her right.
No.
Oh, so are we going to get into her top 5? Nah, she's not here, right? Like, we have it. We could
Should
talk
we-
about her top 5.
Should we ramble off her 5 or should we incorporate it in the rotation?
Like, I don't know. We've all seen our top 5. Is any of our top 5 on any of our lists?
Not mine.
Not
No.
on mine.
No.
Weirdo.
Well, I guess we could give her her due and give her her top 5.
All right.
We're going to lob that out there?
Yeah.
All 5? Okay.
But we could put her into the rotation. But, she's not here.
Yeah. What you gonna do about it, Laura? Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could. Hey, Corey, hang on a second. We'll go get a wig. We'll put it on you. You can talk in your most Laura voice. And then...
I don't know if my mustache is big enough.
Ooh, a mustache joke on Laura, eh?
Ha.
Yeah. By the way, we're getting you razors for Christmas, Laura.
The next podcast, we're gonna be mumbling because our lips will be fat.
Yeah. We'll go the battered, the battered podcast, right? Because she'd beat the crap out of all us.
Well, spoiler, we are thinking of doing a drunken New Year's Eve podcast, so I'm kind of excited for that.
Oh, yeah. I really want to do it.
I'm on call, so it's going to be a sober, drunken podcast.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
You're zany enough on your own, so...
I got told that I guess at a Christmas party the other day, and everyone was just like, wow, you were really drunk.
You're like,
Like,
no!
I was on call, so no, I wasn't. I'm like, wow, you did that sober? Yep.
Have you ever watched the Slammin' Salmon? The Broken Lizard movie?
Ooh, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Sounds familiar.
It's the one with the guy from Green Mile.
Yeah,
and the guy
Michael Clark Duncan, yeah.
Michael, okay.
But it's the Broken Lizard crew with Michael Clark Duncan and Colby Smulders. But
I forgot Robin Sparkles.
Yeah. I just remember the line, just going what we were saying there is Jay there, the director, he's the East Indian one there. Everyone keeps calling him Nuts, and the one guy is like, why do they call you Nuts? Because I'm crazy. And that's what I was thinking of with this whole conversation.
Okay.
That was a long-winded segue, but anyway.
What were we segueing to?
Just saying how you were always crazy, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear about how the guy who invented the Segway died? It's a segue for another time. Okay, continue on.
Anyway, so Laura's top 5, number 5.
Drum roll. Do we have a drum roll?
No.
We don't
Yeah,
have a
I
drum
told you guys, give me a list, and you guys never gave me a list.
You
So I
gotta read
randomly
our
call-
minds, damn it.
We are.
Sorry, I'm not married to you.
I appreciate
I can
that.
only read one person's mind.
You
at a
can
time.
actually read her mind?
No, but
Okay, I was gonna say you're better than I,
Could
sir.
you guys imagine the beard on your guys' children, though? It would be impressive. Like, those two beards together, that'd be good children.
I got nothing.
okay. That one went over my head.
Because you've got a beard and he's got a beard.
Well, no. Once you have to explain it, it's already too late.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it, 'cause-
Well, I got it eventually, but it was just...
Doesn't mean it's funny.
like maybe the joke was bad, maybe Mike's really slow.
This could be.
Limited
I'm
column
not
A,
gonna
limited
argue
column
that.
B. Anyways, number 5, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The
Had a
TV
very
special.
shiny
Noise?
noise.
Yeah, classic TV. Honestly, the Christmas specials are incredible. And Rudolph probably, between Rudolph and Santa Claus Goes to Town, or comes to town, whatever. Anyways, those were like the pinnacle of TV specials for growing up.
I have complained about stop motion time and time again on this podcast.
Yeah, you have.
But that is one of the few stop motion that I can thoroughly enjoy.
Well, stop motion pre-90s is awesome. Because that's what they had to do. They didn't have a choice.
I mean, are you saying that Harryhausen's awesome?
Who's Harryhausen?
Like Clash of the Titans and all
Yeah,
that stuff?
When you're 8, 9,
Yeah,
10, it is awesome.
It did not age, though. It did not age.
No, it
Whereas,
doesn't.
like,
Absolutely
Rudolph
not.
and all that stuff did age well, so...
The stuff,
Yeah, but I mean, again, if a 21-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 50-year-old pops up and sees that, they're, oh, it's real. No, it's fun. It has a heavy nostalgic place in our hearts. Me specifically. And because it's an animation, it's a cartoon, they can get away with it. It's like Jason the Argonauts. That's different.
I'm pretty sure that was Harryhausen too. So
Yeah, no, I'm I'm sure there was not a whole lot of guys that did that.
We've talked ad nauseum of like in Gremlins. I mean, it's like I don't like the stop motion. We haven't done Ghostbusters yet. How have we not done Ghostbusters yet?
We haven't done Ghostbusters yet?
Yeah, but the stop motion in Ghostbusters, I didn't like, all that kind of stuff.
So that would, okay. Once the movie's been beaten to death by all its sequels, then we'll review it. So we're almost there.
Ghostbusters is a good should it die. We're gonna do a should it die on Ghostbusters.
Anyway,
let's continue on with
Let's continue. Number 4, Muppets Christmas Carol.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine acting his ass off in a room full of puppets. I'll never figure it out. He was so goddamn good. The movie was so great, but he was way too good for a movie like that.
Again, I'm gonna put the same in that same thing. Is like it was a phenomenal thing when I was 8 or 12 or whatever it was. I mean,
when doing the math, Mike, you would have been 20 when that movie came out.
When did that movie come out?
It was.
Don't tell us, Corey, because we know you're going to be wrong.
It was in the mid-90s.
In mid-90s?
Okay,
I was in my early 20s.
Somewhere between 96 and 93.
So I
don't know exactly, but
I probably didn't get into it then either. So.
Nope.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
92.
Oh, I'm off by.
Oh, right around Phantom Menace.
99 was Phantom Menace.
Oh, was it? Oh, what was I thinking? What was in 92?
It came.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park was 93.
93. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, again, the Muppets, again, it's great stuff. I'm not going to slam it for any reason.
I love the Muppets.
Other than I was a grown-up when it came out, and
Did you have appreciation for the original Muppets?
When I was a kid, yeah, I did. I mean, I think I look at people today, and there's people that just want to grasp and hold tightly onto their nostalgic past, and they don't want to let go, and it influences today's modern movies. Where I loved what I saw, I don't want to see it again. I want to see something new.
I mean, the Jason Segel Muppets was good. The sequel was not.
I
But
never
the
liked
Jason
Jason Segel.
It was like, did you watch the movie? The
Muppets?
2008 Muppet movie?
No.
It was actually really good.
Yeah, it was pretty well.
Like
Did
I
you
said,
believe the Muppets were alive?
yeah.
Did you?
The one?
Did
Muppet,
you imagine what would their legs be like if you could see them?
Well, actually, in the Muppet movie, they show top to bottom Kermit.
Oh,
So-
top to
His
bottom.
legs are unnaturally skinny.
Sexy.
Well, because they're the same as his arms, right?
You know, it's funny you bring up nostalgia. The Muppet Christmas movie was probably made because of nostalgia, right? Because the Muppets originally, what, 70s?
76.
So, like, the parents would have grown up on the Muppets, and then the kids...
Well, and that was why Jason Segel made it.
But no,
He grew up-
those were the kids that the kids had grown up on. The Christmas Carol here, that was the original set of kids.
Yeah.
From, you
Yeah.
know, the original set of kids and their kids.
See that?
This is the kids of those kids is that Muppet movie.
Yeah, and then I totally get
Enemies
that,
of
and I
enemies.
understand that people want their kids to appreciate what they had when they were a kid, but to me, it's like, when does that die off and they start making new stuff again? So it's
They're
like,
never going to make
when
new
do the
stuff.
kids get their own stuff? Now we can start dissecting Transformers, G.I. Joe. We can go through all this list of what we grew up with, and then the next generation reinvented the same stuff, and now we're getting the same stuff, and now it's remakes, and now it's, where's the next new great thing? That's
The
what I
problem
want.
with the next new great thing is that media is not made the same way now.
Well, and
Media is created on your phone,
Yeah.
and that's what the kids are into.
keyboard warriors have ruined Hollywood.
Who?
Keyboard war.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even like I hear what you're saying there with the keyboard warriors and the toxic fan bases, but that's not even where I'm getting at with the new media. The new media is some guy on a TikTok video.
Yeah.
It's not a franchise. It's not
Okay.
the Muppets. It's not Star Wars. That's grasping at that. That's grasping the last gasp of
I'm going to
Hollywood.
argue with you on that.
You think so?
Because, and I wouldn't be inclined to agree with you, other than my son and I were out a couple years ago. We were driving around, and I was being the old man grumpy, fucking remakes, blah, 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 I hate life and whatever. And Logan, my son, who's like 23, going, yeah, I know, I totally get it. It's like, and it's like, well, where's the new stuff? Dad, there is a ton of stuff. Ton of great stories out there that are on YouTube and on media.
Yeah.
'Cause they can't afford to
Hey,
get 'em up.
what's your name? Zeke, what's your name? Fuck you, Zeke. You remember that?
Nope.
Have you not heard that meme?
Nope.
It's.
But that's the wonderful thing about it, because
But
there's so much of it, right?
Let's make shit about this stuff. You heard about the guy that stole the plane and did the barrel roll in a passenger jet?
What?
You remember that? No, my God, you haven't heard that?
I
Okay,
think I heard that one.
this guy, he was depressed, and he played a lot of video games, and he just walked on to it was like a 727 or whatever it was,
And
and there's a whole dialogue. It's true, with the tower and him going. He's going. You think one of these things could do a barrel roll? I don't think that would be, and he does the barrel roll, and the guy's going, what would impress me if you could land it? I don't think that's going to happen. I just, I think this is going to be it. I'm very sorry I did all this. And then he dives it down and kills, and it's a huge story.
he kills them?
Himself. There's
Yeah.
nobody on the jet. It's just him. He took it in mid thing, but it's so sad. These are stories, but nobody's touching them. And that's where my son and I got.
When they made what the hell was that Tom Hanks one about the pilot there?
Oh, that was a.
That was a real life.
Yeah, that was a true
I'm
story
saying
too.
that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Based on a true story.
Yeah.
So
Modern
again,
time.
there is
Yeah,
hope, but
it's-
it's few and far between.
Yeah,
It's a 10-year-old movie now, I do believe.
but I mean Scully or Sully.
Sully, yeah.
But I mean, again, where's the next silly superhero that we can have? I mean, we're all living off of the next remake of Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. Well, Batman's the only one that really hasn't been redone.
The Boys and Invincible are doing really good for themselves.
I agree, and there's that edge.
And those are both comic books that came out in the mid to late 2000s that are doing really good for themselves, right? Like they're both newer. In the superhero realm, they're both newer.
Pushing the line, right? Like, comics have this degree of family friendliness to them. Then these two shows came out and just said,
"Well, this was like the HBO era, right?"
Yeah.
Invincible is arguably like the best superhero comic book that's came out in like since the original Steve Ditko Spider-Man. Like it was a terrific from issue 1 to the very last issue.
It's the most original since then. I
wouldn't even say original. It's a Superman. It's a blatant Superman ripoff.
Well, but the idea of it, the concepts behind it is original. This grounded to reality, the kind of sense.
See, but Blackburn bombed.
Was it Blackburn? I don't think it was based on an existing.
Well, no, it wasn't, and it was also a Superman ripoff. But it just
Brightburn?
shows Brightburn. Sorry,
I love that movie,
but it bombed. And,
I know.
And yet, it was an original take on a classic.
I loved it because of that.
Yeah, and so this is what we want, and then they make it, and they're like, "No, just kidding, we don't like it."
Yeah, and then it's just the social. It's the keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
it's the
Marvels has now ended its theatrical run as the lowest grossing Marvel movie. It was a good movie. It's just that people are like, "Oh, Brie Larson." Watch the movie. She is amazing.
Yeah,
it legitimately makes me angry that Captain Marvel was $1 billion movie and the Marvels
was not.
Was Marvel's first bomb. Like that legitimately makes me mad because the Marvels is. I could see the dance or the singing planets.
Oh yeah, it was a little annoying, but whatever.
I could see people having problems with that. Other than that, the rest of the movie was excellent.
See, again,
Captain Marvel was boring and bland.
Again, part of the problem too is with movies like that is they're trying to hit too many demographics. Same with Love and Thunder. If they would have said this is a 10 and under movie, we're just geared straight for kids. If they would have told us that, I would have said, "Oh, that's a great movie for 10 and under." Or whatever, or whatever.
Love and Thunder.
That was not a grown up.
Much.
Yeah.
Over the top.
Well, that's.
It was too mixed. Like it got too dark in places for kids.
The Marvels,
and then too light.
Well, a guy like Christian Bale playing Gore, and you're like, holy crap, he kills gods, and he's freaking amazing, and Christian Bale acts his ass off. And then you've got Russell Crowe playing Hercules,
and the rest of
fairy.
The rest of it was like PG kind of thing, And same with Marvels. That was a very narrow demographic, but the people outside of that demographic were commenting on it.
But there was nothing like.
Well, my point is,
for lack of better words, about that movie though.
If the demographic that loved that movie all cheered and went to see it, it's still only a $50 million, $100 million movie. It was not designed for a 50-year-old male, although we may have liked it. I didn't see it, so I have no comment. But the demographic was for females, young girls. That was its target audience. If everyone's seen it,
Barbie has proven that demographic is not a $50 million
demographic. Barbie didn't prove that to me. Barbie was an anomaly.
Made $1 billion.
Well, yeah, but it was targeted.
Are you Barbie's target demographic?
No.
Neither are us. All of us white old guys sitting around the table. That was.
I didn't pay for it to see it either. But I mean,
that was targeted to girls and
women,
20 to 30-year-old women.
No, 60-year-old women and down. The nostalgia of Barbie.
60-year-old woman. If I took my mom to see Barbie, she would have hated that movie.
Well, my wife wouldn't have liked it either. My wife's mom, because they didn't like Barbies because they were unrealistic.
I think.
But the point being is Barbie's been around since the 50s, 40s, or whatever.
I think you'd have to be 35 and under to enjoy the Barbie movie. To be honest, like it's that kind of a movie that I guess don't think the average older audience...
Well, you're a middle-aged white man, so you don't have... Never mind. I'm just kidding. No. I mean...
That is what people will say.
So I think Barbie hit hit success on proper marketing.
It did have good
And
marketing.
I would bet you that Miss Marvel's missed that mark.
Well,
on
and
marketing.
it came out during the strike. So
Which did?
the Marvels. So
Yeah, yeah.
and they weren't.
The strike had just ended.
Well, either way,
Yeah.
they were not allowed to
market it
too much because of the strike. So
Well, yeah. I mean, there was, and there's, it's everything else. It's that argument of Barbie was, why was it so successful, so popular? There's a lot of reasons outside of that one element that you were suggesting that I can't remember anymore.
That's the largest demographic that targeted, right? And it proved that that's a viable demographic.
And Margot Robbie's hot.
Well, and so is Ryan Gosling, and I mean, there's so many. It was filled with stars, popular stars. It was filled with a lot of things. There's a lot of things going for it outside of just it being about Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
that was a very big social commentary.
What did Miss Marvel's have, or what did the Marvels have going for it outside of its storyline? About hitting the young girls, empowering women, and whatever.
Well, it moved forward.
Kamala Khan is such an inspiring character.
Come out as what?
Kamala Khan's a very inspiring character for younger girls.
Okay, no, sure.
That is...
And she's Canadian.
She is, like... I love that character.
Oh, that's great. But
and I think that's... Like, I don't want to see young girls dressing up like Captain Marvel. I want to see young girls dressing up like Miss Marvel, because, like, that is a target for young girls, right?
I want to see both. Like
nothing wrong with
I
both.
think the Miss Marvel idea is great, but I still want to see Psylocke type characters, and I want to see Power Girl in a traditional suit, and I want to have the option.
It sounds like they are finally gonna make the Rogue storyline. Because if you know anything about the Rogue character, she got her powers from stealing them from Miss Marvel and almost killing her.
Wow, we are way off track.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Ho, ho,
Guys, how are we working through our first list?
We're on 4 out of her 5, and that's it. And by counting backwards. 4.
Okay, so
number 3, Flintstones Christmas.
I love the vitamins they sell in that movie.
I did love Flintstone vitamins, you're right.
Talk about making the middle-aged fat guy feel good again. And for you, there's Barney.
Oh, yeah.
Middle-aged short guy.
Yeah. Mel Blanc was great. I love Mel Blanc.
Again, my wife does a perfect Betty. She laughs naturally like Betty.
Yeah. Number 2, White Christmas, Bing Crosby.
Dan, what is his? Danny White? No, Dan. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
Dan White Christmas.
The cast of it. Like, I've seen it, and I have friends that's their tradition. Every year, they get the 4 of them together, and they sing along live with White Christmas, and.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Bing Crosby song. However, again, I have zero interest in watching that movie.
It's hard to get into black and white movies.
No, you'll see on my list. I have a black and white movie on it, but I see where you're coming from too. So,
okay. Next on the list,
her number 1, Christmas Carol, Alistair Sim, the quintessential Christmas Carol movie.
Is that black and white?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that one was black and white.
Yeah. Honestly, like. I've said before.
So again, she's got 2 Christmas carols on her list,
and 2 black and white movies.
Well, I mean, just in my old argument for Christmas Carol, it makes it boring. Just because there's 2 on her list, and there's 2 on everybody's list, and there's 4 on some people's list, and Did you
ever watch the Jim Carrey one?
Yeah, it was fine.
Honestly, I didn't like it the first watch, but then I kind of analyzed it, and it was such a great job capitalizing on the novel, because same with the Alistair Sim one, the novel is not a family movie. It's pretty damn dark.
Well, that's what Christmas Carol's supposed to be.
Christmas Carol's a dark
scare you straight.
Right. Whereas, like, all the people that have reimagined it ended up making
fluffing it.
You don't think the Muppet Christmas Carol was scary?
No.
It was darker for a Muppet movie, but...
Yeah. Oh, Kermit! Oh, my God! Oh, sorry.
What's it called? Yeah, no, honestly though, the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol, the one she picked, one of the most faithful adaptations of the book. Great job. The intro was only ever again put in the Jim Carrey version. The intro about Jacob Marley's funeral. That was always skipped in all the iterations except for the Jim Carrey version finally, and then the Alistair Sim.
Did you see the Henry Winkler version?
I knew of it. I didn't see it.
I don't think I've
I
seen
remember
the
that
Henry
one. That one
The
was
Fawns?
Henry. What's that?
The Fawns?
Yeah, well, Henry Winkler, Patrick Stewart.
Pretty sure we had that.
It's been done so many times, and that's the thing, like, and none of them failed because of the actor. Henry Winkler, Patrick Stewart, Michael Caine.
Is Patrick Stewart Ebenezer or
he's Ebenezer? Yeah,
I feel like Patrick Stewart would make an amazing.
He was, and it'll always be the construct of the movie itself. The failure will lie on writing, editing, or directing. Never, it's rarely the actor themselves.
Yeah, so that would be Laura's pick. So I think we'll move. Let's go clockwise. So Jeff, go ahead. What's your number 5? We're gonna start counting down. We're doing the round table now. So 5, 5,
round
5, 4,
table.
4, 4.
We're not at a table, and it's not a round shape.
Yeah,
we're round shaped.
Yes, we are very round. All three of us are.
We
very,
have
very
bodies for radio. Let me tell you.
And faces. Don't forget the faces.
Well,
I think my face is pretty hot. You take it away from the rest of myself.
I'm pretty attractive from the top of my head up.
Top of your head up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have any attractiveness on my. Do I need to talk to a teenager over there? We have teenage stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Let him finish.
So, starting out my top 5 is the Polar Express.
That's a polarizing pick.
Oh, wow! Oh, I got the boo, eh? Wow. Mike is no longer in charge of the sound for the boo. My first pick gets a boo, eh? Let me guess, you've got a round of applause there for yours. Eh?
No, I don't. No, I don't think it's a bad movie. But I don't know. It just felt like this was Tom Hanks's flex. Oh, I'm going to play 14 characters. Yeah!
I thought he just played the conductor.
He played every one of them, every one of the adults, other than
really?
Except for
Steven
the
Tyler or whatever. Or who was the singing band?
Yeah.
Whoever they were.
Aerosmith was there, yeah.
And he did a respectable job.
Was he the Elves?
Yeah, I think so.
Elves too?
I think he played every adult character.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
From the director of Forrest Gump.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that was a Spielberg movie.
No, Zemeckis.
Huh. Well,
Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also
okay. So, and you went to Forrest Gump with Zemeckis?
Well, just
not Back to the Future.
Just because it was Tom Hanks.
Okay, or Ready Player One? Didn't he do Ready Player One?
Oh, see, yes. I also thought that was Spielberg. Ready Player One. They're
Spielberg
tied.
produced
they're producing that.
Spielberg's more of a producer than a director nowadays, and so
he's a better producer now than he is a director now.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was his last movie he directed?
I think BFG.
Did he not direct the one about his life story? Or did somebody else direct that?
Whose life story?
Ironic.
His life story. Or is it
Spielberg's life story?
Yeah, it was kind of based off of his life when he was a kid. And it's just a year or so old.
I vaguely remember seeing a trailer for this. Vaguely.
It was nominated for Oscars.
Yeah, so was The English Patient. Have you and English Patient won? And have any of us seen that? No.
No, which is too bad. Rough finds, but yeah.
It's gonna bug me until I find out. But okay.
So while Mike is busy Googling, if he had like a computer sound right now, that would be the time.
Oh, that would be a good soundbite. You might want to look into that one too. Just the tapping of a keyboard.
Well, I mean like the
either or. Yeah,
the Fablemans.
I vaguely remember that.
I thought it sounded familiar.
It's 2022.
Did Spielberg direct it?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
It feels pretty self-indulgent to direct a movie.
Yeah,
by yourself.
Right.
I do remember hearing about it. Right.
Even autobiographies aren't written by the person
Yeah.
it's about.
Wait, so Polar Express, let me say why it's on my list. Didn't like the movie when it first came out. I thought I don't like that kind of CGI, so lifelike like that, or like trying to be so lifelike. But my wife and my oldest son have just beat me down, and like over the years, I've finally it gets growing on me. Every year, my wife has to watch it, and it's finally won me over. It took like 11 years, but it's finally there. Mike, since you're too busy old man Googling over there.
I'm done, old man Googling.
You're done, old man Googling?
Steven Spielberg directed and co-produced the film The Fabelmans.
That seems very self-indulgent.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
but
Steven Spielberg.
if your life was as great as his, would you like somebody else to tell?
Well, that's a fair point, because, like,
And he's young enough to be spry and remember this shit, too. So.
Well, I don't know if Spielberg's that young.
I don't know.
Mike, can we get your number 5?
Number 5. Oh. My number 5? My number 5 is definitely, most likely... Oh, Trading Places. I forgot. I had it written down.
Wow, you're young and spry like Spielberg. You remember these things so well.
Yeah. Again, I'll default my hypocrisy to mostly nostalgic purposes on this one too. But at least it was
the old man nostalgia. Hey,
yeah, it was. It was just one of those movies that I remember. I'd forgotten about, and then once I started searching Christmas movies to try and round up my list, that popped up, and I thought, oh shit. I remember that movie. I love that movie. It had, Eddie Murphy at his peak. It had Dan Aykroyd. It had Jamie Lee Curtis, the two old guys from The Muppet Show. I can't remember their names, but they're in a lot of movies.
Waldorf.
Yeah. That's not really
No.
who they are.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's a great story. It's a comeback story. It's down with the system story, and it all took place over Christmas, and I did like it, and I remember it fondly.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate 80s Dan Aykroyd? Because, like, what was that one with Chevy Chase where they're spies like us?
Oh, that was a great movie.
The Great Outdoors. Like, everyone remembers.
Oh my god, him and John Candy were great together.
Mm-hmm. Of course, everyone remembers Ghostbusters. I know, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Can you see what I hear?
I don't know.
That was a remake. Actually, Mark Singer did the remake with Harry Belafonte's daughter.
Okay.
Can you see what I hear? And it was this great movie about a blind guy falling in love and whatever, and it had the whole story was about that. Dan Aykroyd did one before that,
which is really funny because this line stuck with me. But I know, like, we definitely have to do Ghostbusters, like, it's just a must. But there's a line in that movie when they're in the library at the beginning where Dan Aykroyd's like, "Listen, do you smell something?" I'm like, "What?" Like,
see, that explains when Chris Hemsworth in the remake with the women version of it, he covers his eyes and I can't smell anything or something like that. It was a now, see, okay, it's been how many years? Now it's funny. It makes sense.
There's actually something funny in the 2016 version.
I keep telling you guys,
that movie's
clever.
It's not.
It's not clever. It's good dumb fun though.
New cast, maybe. Anyway, and I'm not saying the women thing.
Again, the movie.
That's a good cast in that one.
I was going to say it wasn't the actor's fault.
Yeah.
Well, not entirely.
But Trading Places is a remarkable 80s comedy.
It is. It was, something I was, again, is it really incredibly done? It's a really well done movie. It was funny.
It was an Eddie Murphy movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy was pretty freaking raunchy in the 80s, too. So.
His movies weren't
terrible.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't total Eddie Murphy 80s, but it was,
We do know that there is the Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
4 coming
that
out, right?
yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
we don't need that.
No, we don't.
You know,
that
I'll
should have
watch
died.
it.
Eddie
I'll watch
does. We don't.
Yeah,
That breaks my heart that Eddie's at that stage of his career.
It breaks my heart that they feel like they either need the money or that they need the fame reboost.
I haven't heard about Judge Reinhold being back in it, so that kind of saddens
Yeah.
me a little.
I seen a picture. Well, I shouldn't say but I heard there was a picture of a lot of the people that are in it.
Well, I saw that too, but I didn't see Judge, and I was a little surprised.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, when was the last time you seen Judge Reinhold in a movie?
Santa Claus.
Yes.
That was
Well,
25 years ago.
Not just the first one. He was in all of them. He might not have been in 3. He was in 2 for sure.
Was
Because he was the
Oh, they guess,
he was the new husband, right?
they just made a new one.
The
It's a TV series.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's a series.
It's a two
Yeah.
seasons now.
yeah. My wife's watching it.
Is
She
he-
said it's actually pretty good, but I
Is
have no
he in
interest.
that one?
I don't even know if it's continuing off or if it's a whole new.
Oh,
ball
Tim
of wax.
Allen's in it, but I don't
Is
know
he?
about. I
Oh,
thought
okay. I thought it was just a whole new ball of wax.
so.
All right.
Okay. No, I wish I had an idea for another podcast,
No.
an actor podcast, and talk about all their movies.
Ooh,
I
I
thought-
like it. I like it.
Because we could go on a tangent
So
with
it's like
Tim
a
Allen.
6 degrees type thing.
Could be.
Yeah.
Tim Allen's made some slobber knockers out there. You know,
He's
Zoom
also-
is still one of my favorite movies for him.
I enjoyed it
He's
too.
also made some knockers at slobber.
Yeah,
Huh? See-
but
see,
leave his
the
sexual
wordplay.
conquests out of this.
Christmas with the Cranks was fun. It's not on my list, but it was fun.
Anyway,
Corey, let's hear your number 5.
Number 5, Christmas classic. I was gonna watch it yesterday, but I didn't. Jingle All the Way.
get to the chopper. I don't know. Is there a chopper in that one?
Well,
Yeah, I think there is a chopper in that
they're
one.
on the roof there with.
I would wager.
I
I'd
can't
wager
remember.
money that he said at some point he says I'll be back.
No, I don't think he does.
It's like Last Action Hero. Like, I'll be back. I know. You always say that.
Yeah.
You didn't expect me to say that. Like, even,
Rubber
that's
baby
kinda
like a
your
burst. Yeah.
So
thing. Yeah,
I-
Rubber Baby Bubba.
I agree. I agree. I love that movie too. It was a fun movie, and what's his name? Sinbad was an excellent co-star. I mean, it's just like co-stars tend to shine with him.
He reminded me, like his mannerisms in the movie Sinbad reminded me of Kevin Hart. Now,
You know,
but much bigger.
literally.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sinbad had a lot. I feel like Sinbad almost had like untapped potential because he was like the hottest thing for a whole moment there,
Remember that?
and it gets gone.
Genie, what was it, Shazam or whatever it was, the Genie movie he was in that was absolutely awful.
Was that Sinbad? I thought that.
No, that was Shaq. That was but no,
Yeah.
Sinbad was a genie in a.
Sinbad never made a movie about Sinbad.
Oh wait,
No.
this is what do they call that?
Oh,
This is the Berenstein's the Berenstein Bears thing.
when you think you remember something, but you remember it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Oh, the what's that called?
Because Shaq was in Kazam, and everyone thinks that Sinbad was in Shazam.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah.
Mandela effect.
Mandela effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Does anybody actually think Nelson Mandela died in?
No, I don't know where that came
Yeah.
from. I knew he
I never
survived
heard of it.
prison.
I never heard of that one
You
before.
never
Yeah.
heard of Nelson Mandela?
No,
Well,
dying in
that's-
prison.
that's-
Dying in prison.
No, but that's how the whole Mandela effect started.
I know.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
people thought-
But I've never heard that
No.
that original.
Yeah. I'm not saying I followed.
I mean,
politics.
I argue some of these Mandela suggestions is like Clint Eastwood's punk line is it's a word off. It's slightly off. I mean, it's not misremembering. It's us manipulating.
The Star Wars one's probably the best one.
And again, it's
The
just
Luke,
like-
I am your father.
Yeah.
What's it actually?
No, I am your father.
It's so close.
Yeah, that one.
He never
Obi-Wan
says
never
Luke.
told me what
I
happened
am
to
your
my
father. He says
your
no. I am your father.
Yeah.
And Luke is the word that is just like
Yeah.
And you know what?
I think people just summarize the conversation. So
I think that's what it is.
It's more. I knew that line before I watched Star Wars.
yeah, everybody
Before I'd
did.
actually seen Empire Strikes Back, I knew that line in like the school grounds, right? So like,
Yeah, no, like I said everybody did back then for sure. I
But-
remember when I went to see The Mummy Returns in the theater, and everyone was so excited to see The Rock on the big screen because it was his first
Oh,
movie.
and he wasn't actually.
And he was in it for like 5 minutes, and then it was computer after that.
Yeah.
And so I went to opening showing because my wife's a huge Brendan Fraser fan, and we went big Mummy fan. And so we get there, and we get out of the opening showing, and for the late showing, there's a lineup. And I wanted to say it out loud that I can't believe The Rock was only in it for 5 minutes, and see how many people dispersed.
Oh,
But I didn't because I'm a good person. So
I remember being quite disappointed with that movie. We were very hyped to see The Mummy Returns, and like
I was disappointed with 5 minutes of it.
yeah.
The rest of it was fine, but
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. But I mean,
It
it
was
was what it was. It was an updated version of Indiana Jones with fun, humor, action, all that stuff that we wanted. And
The first one was so well done.
oh yeah, no, it's just most movies.
Yeah.
The second movie always ends up
and then
suffering.
the third one was even worse.
The third one was rough.
Well, when you have to replace a lead actress too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
that
Maria
'cause
Bello.
Rachel Weisz is such a key. I loved her.
Oh, yeah.
She brought a lot of life to that role.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Maria Bello, who plays her in the third one, is the one who plays Kevin James's wife in Grown Ups.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Jeff.
So my top four, my number four, my top four, my number four, and I know this is on Mike's list as well. If Mike hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have even remembered to put this on my list. A Christmas Story.
Nice,
Uh,
classic.
You shoot your eye out, kid.
I double dog dare you. I
Triple dog dare you.
Not a triple dog dare.
The tongue on the. I only wince at the tongue on the pole scene because I did that when I was 5.
You know, everybody's either done that or knows somebody that has done the
It was-
pole.
Yeah, the big question is how old were you when you
5.
did it?
I was 5. It was in my hometown, and
I was 19.
See, by 19, you should have known better.
at that point, there's no sympathy.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember it was horrible because, of course, back then nobody thought to get warm water, so you just fucking ripped
Yanked
your
it
tongue
off,
off.
yeah.
So I missed like an entire layer of skin on the top of my tongue.
So I thought about the warm water, but I didn't want anybody to know. I'm 19 years old. I just suffered.
I'm pretty sure I'm still missing a big chunk of my tongue from doing it back in grade 2.
I absolutely love that movie too. It is.
It's a great movie.
It is.
I think it's one of the few movies I think that actually captures the childhood of it. Like, too many
childhood
movies,
innocence.
It's from his perspective, right?
Yeah.
And what's even better is because it's told through an old man's, or at least an older man's recollection of it.
Yeah.
So what actually happened in the movie wasn't necessarily probably true. It is our own nostalgia fluffing up that story, and that's how the movie was told. Where he had the Black Bart and the egg coming out, bing, bing, bing,
and then being the 80s and being able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene would not fly today.
I also have another special connection because we did that on stage as a play.
Nice.
And my son got to play Ralphie, and I was actually the narrator I played old Ralphie.
Aww.
So I would narrate the whole thing, and I tried to encompass that same energy that the guy in the movie did. The guy in the movie did, and it was a nice element with my son playing it and all that sort of thing. So
I still remember going to your narrated Star Wars thing.
Oh, May the 4th be with you. Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
That is something that I wish I would.
Yeah, I still have my Kylo Ren figure. So
that was we had like 6 or 7 of us would read the Shakespearean version of Star Wars, the abbreviated through the three movies, and then the 6 or 7 of us would be on stage and act it out and floaty blocks and do the best we can and have a lot of fun.
So
yeah,
if you ever bring that back, you must give me a call because that was something that I would love to see.
Okay.
So, Mike, your number 4?
Let's see, number 4. Oh yeah. I was on a debate on this one, and I thought about that. And
I'm a master at that.
What's that?
I'm a master at that.
I'm a master at
Debating.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I to save us some time. It's the same one. I would
What?
go. I would
What?
because it's. I gotta give. Okay, you're making me.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Okay, it's
Hey,
either,
if you want to save some time, you can put on there. I'm just having some fun at your expense.
no, that's fine. And it's just. I mean, a lot of these are.
Is it higher on your list or?
I don't know. It's kind of the middle three are kind of
You
there.
didn't rank
Oh,
them.
okay.
The middle three could be interchanged, and I could call it whatever you wanted. So I'm going to go with Chris's story just because we had the same talk about it. I'll shave off a couple minutes off the podcast because we don't have to. Hey, I was in this with my son. We did it on stage. Blah blah blah.
I did
blah.
not know
What?
that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was actually just to add to that, it was the very first theater production at the Bailey Theater when they reopened after they rebuilt it.
Oh.
Super cool.
Yeah, I directed the first theater production in the Bailey and the first theater production in the Lougheed Center.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, for Church Mice.
What was the first one in the
Lougheed?
you did?
Three Musketeers, the full version.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that was like
Did you
cast
have
of
Stinging Brian
35.
Adams to do the soundtrack?
What's that?
Did you get Stinging Brian Adams to do the soundtrack?
No. No, we actually, that's where my son taught me how to work Audacity, and I took Dance Macabre. Have you heard that? You know that song? It's very
I
famous.
know of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's public domain. I just took that song, sped it up, deepened it, high pitched it, made it fast for the action scenes. I took one song and I just manipulated it for every scene throughout Three Musketeers, and I got some very positive feedback about the sword fighting and the soundtrack for it. So
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Corey, you're number 4.
Number 4, the original underline exclamation mark highlight black and white Miracle on 34th Street.
oh.
I saw the 90s version. I've
Yeah.
never seen the old version.
90s version. What that? I did not
it
like
was
it at all.
big
Who was in
and
the 90s?
popular at the time.
The girl from Mrs. Doubtfire with a lisp was the girl in it, and
Okay.
I can't remember who the Santa Claus was.
yeah, I can't remember.
Because that's
but
the only movie I
just-
can recollect him in.
Mhm.
It wasn't good. The original
Oh,
had so much heart. The original had that movie. Like, if you didn't believe in Santa before that, you would after that movie because it told the story so well. And the ending scene where they're bringing all the mail to the courthouse, and like that movie, like it wells up my eyes. Not because it's depressing, because it's just so emotionally well written and powerful. And
that was Jimmy Stewart, wasn't it?
no, that was
No,
It's a
was it?
Wonderful Life.
Oh, okay, wrong movie. You can all tell me
That-
what a bad impression that was.
I quite like that one, but
yeah, it's a classic, but yeah, no, I just
Okay, so I don't-
really enjoy.
I don't remember Miracle on 34th Street at all, even though I was in the stage play. I just remembered that. I was in it. I was.
Damn, you're old.
No, it was.
yeah, I'm like,
it was,
wow, you were in the black and white one. Eh?
No, it was,
I knew you were up there in years.
It was
like,
12 or 13 years ago.
1953, by the way, was the black and white one.
I played the corporate boss person.
Oh, you played the bad guy.
The Macy's guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
You don't even remember who you played.
No, I was a lawyer or a judge. I was the
Oh,
judge.
you were the judge. Nice.
Yes, I was filler in that play. I didn't have any big parts, so I was running around. I was the judge. That's right.
But yeah,
I think.
just give it a watch. I mean, not you guys necessarily, but it's really good. Like it's a slow burn, but it's so good.
As any 1950s era movie.
Right,
is. Like,
right.
You know,
So
weren't exactly known for their high paced action back
I don't know. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was pretty peppy.
Ooh, Thrill of
I'm
Sex.
pretty sure that was 60s though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we allowed to watch? Is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on like that banned list of theirs now too? Like I feel like
I heard it was going to be. I don't know if it is.
Oh, why?
I don't know why.
Was there something offensive?
Disney just does that sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, decide these movies are evil. No.
Jeff, what's your number 3?
I have Home Alone on my number 3. We're rounding up my top 3 here.
Nice.
two the two most worst people to come across if they have prep time. Batman
And Kevin.
And Kevin. McAllister.
Yeah.
Yeah, who?
with prep time.
That's going to be a podcast one of these days. Who would win, Kevin McAllister or Batman?
With prep
Give it
time.
up prep time.
Yeah. Did you watch the Google Assistant commercial where Macaulay Culkin reenacts scenes from the movie, but using Google Assistant, like the little speaker box?
No, I don't think so.
It's only like a minute long, but it's so fantastic because it just shows that in a modern world with a smart box or a smart speaker, or whatever.
I have seen it.
Yeah.
He shaves and he's like, wait, I'm 35.
It's just it's so fun. I watched Home Alone last night. Absolutely fantastic choice.
You know,
What was he? Continue.
I feel like, to me, it's got a lot of hearts and everything like that. Like, Kevin McAllister is just a heartwarming character. You know, he's that kind of brat and everything like that, telling his parents, like, I wish you were all dead, or that you just disappear, right? And then he gets his wish. Like, it just...
How douchey did they have to make the older brother to be douchier
Between
than Kevin?
the older brother and the uncle. Like, the uncle was unlikable. I don't know if that was the point of the character, but, like, almost too, like, the fact that the family never interrupted him and said, don't talk to my kid that way. Like,
the uncle was... See, Buzz felt like a real character, the older
yeah,
brother.
he felt like an older brother.
The douchey older brother,
Yeah.
because they're just douchey, right?
Yeah.
The uncle was almost too far. He was almost cartoony in how asshole he was. Like,
I'll save it for. I'm sure somebody's going to bring up that movie. We'll the
like,
uncle.
he was less than one-dimensional. That's how. Yeah, it was just.
Does anybody know what the hell Kevin McAllister's dad did?
Right?
Like, that house was huge, and he flew them all out to Europe.
Yeah, but it was huge in the 70s and the 80s. That house was only maybe $300,000-$400,000.
I mean, the movie was like 93. Just saying.
Okay, 93. I mean, still, my house is worth the price of that house now, and mine's a one-floor bungalow.
Yeah, that movie was 1990.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I think you're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
If it was in
Yeah,
Phoenix,
yeah,
that
well,
house
yeah.
would be like $30,000.
You know what? I'm going.
And if it was in Vancouver, it would be like 10
$3
million.
$3 million. Yeah.
Funny story. I'm going to Chicago next week.
Oh, me too.
I didn't know it was playing.
I should go to the house. I got to talk my coworkers into going to go see the Kevin McAllister.
Nice.
House.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We got to do this.
We
Go
went
for
to the
Sherman,
jail
Illinois.
in the Goonies.
Huh?
We went to the jail in the Goonies movie.
Where is
Astoria.
It's in Astoria.
Yeah.
Oh.
We drove down there in 2017.
I'm going to
Just did a holiday and drove down
Seattle
there.
actually in the new year. So.
Let's go check it out.
And
You go to the last block.
Yeah, Blockbuster. Andrew and I are going to a Kraken game, and then we're going to go to the last Blockbuster.
Can we always take a second to say what a terrible hockey team the Kraken is?
I love
Like,
the name.
Are they, though?
What a
Yeah,
fantastic
Like,
name.
the first year they were terrible, but...
Do you want your fan base to be known as the Crackheads?
I
'Cause
mean,
that
it's Seattle.
I don't know. It's just like, what do you got? Penguins?
Yeah, but the nickname for their fan base is the Penheads. That's a lot better than the Crackheads.
Oh,
It's just,
I'm good with that. Hey, Macaulay Culkin got a star on the Walk of Fame.
And
Good for
Catherine
Deserved or
Hare was
not?
there for him. It was beautiful.
that?
Catherine Hare was there for him.
Yeah, that was nice.
Big hug. It was a great scene.
Does he deserve it? And I mean that in an honest question. Like, what has he done in Hollywood?
You didn't know, though, that you don't have to deserve it. You have to just pay them $1 million. Anybody can get a star as long as you pay $1 million. So Adam West never got a star. So Ralph Garman, long story if you don't know who he is, and some other people raised the money to get him a star before he passed away. So
in my opinion, Macaulay Culkin had such a huge cultural. Like, did Shirley Temple deserve a star on there?
I mean, she did a lot of movies.
Well, Shirley Temple was what, the 30s and 40s?
Yeah.
No,
So-
40s. No, 40s. probably.
50s.
Was
Was it 50s?
I'm pretty sure Shirley Temple's still alive.
I think she
guys.
managed. Yeah, I would say I think she managed to get into the color. Like she started black
she
and
had
white and
color
got into
movies.
color. So
Yeah.
And like, what did she do outside when she was an adult? I don't think anything, as far as I know, right?
No, I think
she
actually,
did some acting for a while. But
I think she stepped away because she was part of the young youth in Hollywood going through all the crap, and she just walked away. So,
and I don't mean it like he definitely has an iconic footprint on cinema in Hollywood. You know, Christmas movie. I mean, Home Alone, Uncle Buck. He's played in 3 or 4 movies that were definitely standout.
I'm just so proud that he turned himself around. Like, he was in rough shape, and now it's just seeing him now. Like, that whole ceremony almost brought a tear to my eye because I was so happy for him.
That's nice.
It was a very sweet thing. But Mike, I think it's time for a body break.
You think it's time for a body break?
I think it's time for a body break.
Okay.
Are we...
Body break, keep moving. Body break, keep moving. Oh yeah. Body break, body break.
Okay, Mike, you're number 3.
3. Okay, yeah, I know what it is. I don't even have to look. I'm gonna lump 3 into 1. Just because that was through that era where my son was aging into that great Santa Claus, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
The Santa Claus is.
Yeah, and I think all 3 of them are really good, and I think all 3 of them stand up strong as a trilogy. And the Santa Claus, the Santa Sub Claus, and the Santa Sub Claus, and the Mrs. Claus, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of them. I know one of them's the Escape Clause.
That was 2.
What was the third one?
No.
That was 3. Because that was the Martin Short one, as Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one was
the Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, was that?
Well, he had to get a wife.
Yeah.
He had to get a wife on one, and that was the plot to it.
Yeah.
And then it was the plastic Superman, or not Superman, Santa Claus.
That turned me off from watching the third one.
Oh, really?
The plastic Santa. I guess
Martin Short the crap out of the third movie.
I really should have gave it a shot just for Martin Short, because I actually do love Martin Short.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, him and
Billy Crystal?
No. Steve Martin are having a hell of a run right now.
Oh, Only Murders in the Building?
Well, that too, but they're also doing a tour as the 2 of them.
Really?
They're just doing there was a special on Netflix we saw, and they're touring around, and they're just going around insulting each other. That's all it is.
That'd be great.
But it's so good.
That makes me want to watch Father of the Bride again. I haven't seen that in forever.
Yes.
Oh, the jerk.
Or the jerk. They're shooting the cans!
The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here!
I still love that meme. It's like, Steve Martin turned 78 this year. Wasn't he 78 in the 80s?
Yeah, Steve Martin's been an old man for like ever. It's the white hair.
The white hair,
right?
yeah.
Would the jerk go across today?
No.
You remember the beginning?
Yeah.
Look it up, people. Look it up.
Look it up before you can't find it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what he says, but I guess remember there with the family, and what did they say to him? Something like, "You stupid" or something like that. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, we can't talk about the jerk.
No.
Well, I guess we can.
We just did.
Yeah,
We can.
we'll have to do it on the podcast.
It's not like we're glorifying it or anything like that. But anyway.
It was a different time.
It was a different time.
Long ago. Anyway. Yeah. Another short one. My number 3 is your number 3.
Oh, is it?
So, Home Alone.
Oh, well, this is a good thing that I'm going first in front of you guys.
Yeah.
So that I can steal everyone's picks.
Yeah. And we can talk about it. Yeah, no. Home Alone, again, quintessential. We talked about it already. Quintessential. Like I said, I watched it last night. I can watch that movie multiple times in the month of December. But yet, I will not watch it outside of the month of December, coincidentally. So,
That score doesn't get enough credit in that movie.
John Williams did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's so much about that movie that we never brought up, which is interesting because, I mean, Macaulay Culkin did not do that alone. We had
No, no.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci of all people,
and then Daniel Stern.
and Daniel Stern. I mean, these were not chumps.
Well, Catherine O'Hara was one of the comedic greats.
Well,
of
the
her
fact that they
time,
had
too.
Catherine O'Hara and John Candy, because of course they were known for SCTV.
yeah,
Mhm.
So
they tend to run in the same circles.
Yeah.
You know, John Candy and all this great outdoors stuff and
yeah,
and whatever. But yeah, no, it was just like that was a hell of a what do they call it? Dern did it. He started turning on the taps. We're the
Oh,
Wet
the
Bandits?
Wet Bandits.
the wet bandits, and now you're the wet bandits. Now we know everything you've done, you stupid idiot.
I
you-
explained to my kids that John Candy and Wayne Gretzky owned the Toronto Argonauts at one point.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Did you guys ever hear the story about Joe Pesci and Macaulay Culkin? So Joe Pesci wanted Macaulay Culkin to be terrified of him, so he terrorized Macaulay Culkin on the set. Like Macaulay Culkin was legitimately terrified of Joe Pesci.
I mean, I'm legitimately terrified of Joe Pesci, so
He is a frightening individual.
especially if you watch
right?
like Goodfellas. Seriously,
I love the method. Why don't I terrorize the 8-year-old actor on set? Oh.
method acting.
So
Number two.
My number two used to be my number one when I was a kid. When I got older, I switched my number one to a movie that I didn't really watch. So we'll get to that. But my number two is the original 1960s How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Nice.
The cartoon.
The cartoon, yeah.
Mr.
Not
Grinch.
And his heart grew 3 times its size.
Boris Karloff voicing the Grinch.
Is
and
that who it was?
narrating.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I guess I love every moment of that movie. I love. There's not a second.
It's only 25 minutes, and it's a full story. Like, you don't even realize it's only 25 minutes because you get a full story in that 25 minutes.
It's a perfect 25 minutes. Like, it just, you get to meet this Grinch character just enough to see his personality come through. Like,
That is the Grinch Stole Christmas is a perfect description of trimming the fat
Mhm.
from a story and all this unnecessary stuff. They've given you everything you need to love, to hate, to go through this whole arc, this emotional arc, without any fluff or any superficial garbage. And that is, I would say, one of a potentially perfect story.
And which is funny because then they did completely the opposite with the Jim Carrey one. And in my opinion, I did not at all like the Jim Carrey one because it was too fluffed and too long and they made too much of the character. Like, you're like, yeah, okay, you over-explained and now I don't care anymore. And
Have you seen the Benedict Cumberbatch one?
I have not. I was going to watch that last night, actually. But I
He did
didn't.
one?
Yeah,
The Illumination Entertainment one. So the guys that
Oh.
did like Mario movie and all that stuff
Oh.
and Minions and all that, they did an animated
Oh,
one.
it's an animated thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fun story. His name, all of a sudden, Scott Moser was like his first movie he actually directed himself.
Scott Mosier?
Yep, that was his first feature-length
Who's
director.
Scott Mosier?
Scott Moser is the producer of
The View Askew universe. Yeah.
Like
Kevin Smith movies.
Oh, the
He
Jay.
Yeah.
No, he's not Jay.
Oh, no, Scott Mosier is his name. He's in all his movies as a small cameo if you look for him. But he met Kevin at film school in Vancouver. Kevin dropped out. He
Oh,
stayed in,
okay.
and-
I thought Scott played Jay.
No,
Jay
no.
and
That's
Silent Bob.
Jay
actually
is Jay.
Jason Mewes.
Jay is
No,
Jason
that's
Mewes.
what Jason Mewes. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, okay. That's who I was thinking of. Right. Scott. Yeah, I know.
But
who
I
you're
did not
talking
realize I did that. Cool.
Hey, and those two movies, like I hated the Jim Carrey one originally. It's much like the Polar Express. It's grown on me over the years. I actually do. The movie itself is that problem. Jim Carrey as a Grinch is actually really delightful.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then the fun part of the fact that Cindy Lou Who is now the lead singer of the Pretty Reckless, Taylor Momsen.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah. So if you ever see her now, she's like all goth and black eyeliner and
Mm.
everything like that. That's little Cindy Lou. So
And the new Illumination, the Grinch, it's not the same Grinch. Like they made him too likable. Like he's not Grinchy at
yeah,
all
he's
in
not
that
supposed
movie.
to be
Yeah.
likable until the end, but
Yeah,
otherwise he's not
yeah,
supposed to be.
exactly.
Well, we got to have him endearing somehow. That's the nature of it.
Well, he's like
Didn't want to offend anybody.
he's
Yeah.
pretty much just lovable throughout the whole cartoon, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like he's not. He's got a couple mean moments, but like the Jim Carrey one, he's off the wall mean.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, and the old.
I mean, that song, so many people have sung it with such viciousness. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And you talk about your artists who sing that, and there's these deep-based voices. Darius Rucker did a great version
Did you
of
know that it took over 4 hours to put on his makeup, and it was so arduous and torturous? He had to take CIA training for torture training just to sit through
it.
the
I've heard
process.
the CIA
Wow.
training.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, and
Despite
it's funny
that-
because he can make that face on his own too.
And despite that, it's still not near as good as the 25-minute one,
Yeah,
right?
amazing.
Unfortunate for him.
And I really, honestly, it's as funny as it sounds, have to credit Boris Karloff for it because his voice made that show.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I don't care who else has done that song. The Boris Karloff did the song as well, right? Like he did the narration,
yeah.
he did the song.
Yeah, he did all
There-
the voice.
To me,
except
there's
for-
no other version of that song. That none of them, they're all crap except for the original.
Yeah.
Oh,
Boris
you're
Karloff.
so harsh. Oh man.
I shouldn't say they're all crap. but
Yeah,
they-
yeah. I mean,
they
they don't.
pale
None
in
of nothing's
comparison.
going to hold up to your original
Yeah.
nostalgic flavor that you grew up with. And
I don't even
I
think it's a
understand that,
nostalgia
but-
flavor. I guess don't think they're.
Boris Karloff, was he a known singer? I'm sure his pitch and tone.
Well,
You know,
he was Johnny Cashing it. He just sang deep.
yeah,
didn't have any
and
vocal talents.
I've heard versions of that I much like more than Boris Karloff, but
Mm.
they couldn't dub in that voice into that animated cartoon and swap it out.
Mhm.
But I totally understand the concept in which you're going with. But it's like when I first heard, and you might disagree with me on this one, but when Disturbed did Sound of Silence,
That took some time to grow on me.
and then that hit me right away. That
Every
is,
Disturbed cover has been amazing.
I agree.
Land of Confusion was
Land of
incredible.
Confusion,
Shout
yeah.
was incredible.
But I mean, that hit me hard. That was a very different tone, and I, but I
I've been following
understand.
Disturbed from like the beginning. Like
Yeah.
I bought their album when it first came
Yeah.
out just because it looked cool, and I've listened to it ever since.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you've got a number 2.
Yeah. No, this is going to be might be a bit of a shocker to Corey, but it is Scrooged.
Oh,
It is a thing that's a classic yearly thing. We all pick ours. I leave the house when my wife picks Elf because I can't stand that movie. But we all sit and watch Scrooge together and all that sort of
and
stuff.
we all tear up a little at the end. Let's be honest.
Yes. Oh,
So.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I do. What's his name in that movie?
Frank Cross.
Frank Cross. Yes, Frank Cross is arguably one of the best iterations of Ebenezer we've ever done.
He was
In
the
my
perfect
opinion.
of the time version
He's a
He's such
because he's dated now. If you watch it,
but I mean,
That is such an 80s movie. That is
Such
the most
an 80s movie.
of
but I
all
mean, it
time.
was a time where we needed to be updated.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, and he updated it beautifully to the time
And I
and the
mean,
era.
Look at the guys behind it. Like Richard Donner directed it,
Yeah.
and what's it called? I can't remember who else is all on in that, but it was like Richard Donner
Robert
brought his
Mitchum.
flavor to it. So,
Uh,
and there was so much good cast. What was funny is his dad in the movie when they go back to the past there was played by Brian Doyle Murray, which is actually his half brother.
No.
And if you've seen like Ghostbusters 2, the psychiatric doctor that's like talking to them when they all get locked up there was Brian Doyle Murray.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought another one.
and he was the boss in Christmas Vacation.
I
Anyway.
don't have a visual, but
Yeah, but there's a bunch of those Murray boys. Like
That's the
guess
only
there's,
two
like,
I know of. So
I think there was 4 of them that got into acting.
Oh.
Those are the 2 most successful. Well, Bill, obviously, by hands and
Brian was
above.
always a side character, but he was a great side character. So
I did love Brian played the perfect CEO character
yeah,
in the
and his
80s.
voice is so good.
Yeah.
So
there were so many elements in that movie that stand out. I wanted to see the mice get the antlers stapled to their skull.
yeah,
I mean, just that idea
a
was
beautiful, infectious, gorgeous smile of Karen Allen.
Oh, Karen Allen.
we
Mary
talked
Lou
about
Retton was Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
Doing the
corporate.
cartwheels.
Yeah.
God bless us, everyone.
What's it called? John Glover playing the California guy that's trying to take Frank's job there. I freaking love John Glover. So, what's it called? Alfre Woodard, who's done a few things actually. She plays the secretary there. Mary Ellen Trainor, the '80s mom, was in it briefly. Bobcat Goldthwait was absolutely phenomenal.
The Bobcat Goldthwait character, I guess. I laugh how dismissive Frank Cross gets. So he's like, "I'm gonna shoot you!" Like, "Oh, God bless us!" Everyone brings him in, and he's just like so confused. Like,
Yeah. I found this thing. Starts doing that. I'm gonna start doing this to everybody now. I'm sorry. I'm looking for a Frank Cross. That's me. But that's the thing. It's not me.
I'm looking for a Frank Cross. I can't even do it.
Yeah.
He's such a unique.
Whatever happened to Gold Cats?
There's a picture of him and
He's
his
still
buddy
existing.
from Police Academy, like a modern picture they got together.
He was best friends with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
really?
did you ever watch that movie World's Greatest Dad from Robin Williams? I couldn't watch it. It was too hard from what I heard. When I heard the plot, I couldn't watch it. But Bobcat actually directed that.
Yeah. No.
So-
He was.
I don't think I could take direction from him. Just like
One, I'd like to know if he talks like that in real life because
No.
because it's like Ozzy, right? Ozzy talks the way he does in the TV show,
Yeah.
but yet he sings the way he does.
Yeah.
So which is the act? So
Yeah.
So-
No, Bobcat. I think these are performers that are one dimensional there, but this is like what's his Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
yeah.
Lillard on stage, he's a fairly simple 1 or 2 dimensional type character in most of his movies. He hasn't done much, but as a director or as a writer, he's done so much more. Right?
He basically just at this point he's played varying versions of Shaggy. He's played,
and that's what I mean.
He's played an
but-
evil Shaggy.
But he's a writer, he's a
He's
director, and he does so much more. And don't discredit the fact that maybe they're not performers, but they are definitely
I liked him in
artists.
Five Nights at Freddy's actually. So
I haven't seen it. So.
yeah, he was in it. So
Did he play a Shaggy type character?
no, I can't get too much into it without spoiling the movie. So we will talk about that one of these days. Yeah.
Did you want to see the Lee Majors movie?
Oh, yeah,
the night the
absolutely.
reindeer
Oh
died.
yeah, the night the reindeer died. Oh yeah, I would have. I was such a Lee Majors fan as a kid growing up. $6 Million Man, The Fall Guy, all of that shit. You know, I had a Lee Majors poster,
Yeah.
Fall Guy, in my bedroom.
Nice.
It was right next to Heather Thomas, but still, that's not the point, you know. But Lee Majors was the action hero of that era, and he never did movies, not really.
Yeah.
But boy, did you know the $6 Million Man, The Fall Guy was enough. I'm actually very disappointed that they're having Ryan Gosling is playing the Fall Guy in the
Really?
movie.
I didn't know they were doing a new one.
Oh yeah,
I knew
no,
they
I've
were
seen.
doing a movie. I
I've
didn't
seen the
realize it was
trailer.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
I'm pretty hyped about the movie, to be honest. Like, I feel like I wanted the A-Team to
I-
be like a really good franchise, and I think the Fall Guy has that potential.
I think they're going to do the same thing. They're going to comedyize it so far. It'll be like Starsky and Hutch.
Oh.
That's what they. I bet you
if
that's what
they
they're
go
gonna do.
that far. That's
Yeah,
maybe-
that was I love Starsky and Hutch too, and that movie kind of really.
The A-Team had guessed the perfect touch on it, and
I thought
really
the
wanted to
A-Team
see-
was a very balanced movie,
Yeah.
to a remake thing. So, mind you, Jessica Biel's one of my hotties.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, just honestly, Liam Neeson as
Murdoch?
Murdoch was
That
pretty great.
That was point on.
I thought it was
casting.
really well
Bradley
casted.
Cooper. This
I
is
like-
before he
Where's his face?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was a good.
he only recently, I mean, a lot of the Stars Born, American Sniper became taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
He's getting
50-50 with
raked
him,
through
so-
the coals at the moment for his Jewish portrayal of that one guy.
Oh yeah.
They had him. He put on a nose, and then he's people are
Wait, is
trying
that
to
like-
shame him.
Is a Jewish nose now like blackface? Like
I'm guessing that's what some people are
It's
upset
like
about.
that Saturday Night Live skit all over again.
Yeah, but
you know. Sometimes you just gotta. It's movie people.
yeah.
But
Anyway.
anyway, let's move on.
Do we want to do
to
honorable mentions before number one or after?
Well, you got to do your number 2.
Oh, I didn't do my number 2 yet. Well, that's okay. My number 2, number 2 or my
You're on number 2.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm a little surprised I haven't heard this from you guys yet. It could be your number ones. I don't know, but Christmas Vacation.
It's my number 1.
All right.
Christmas Vacation.
I expected it to be on somebody's list. It was my wife's number 1 for years. She's fallen off the wagon off of that, and moved on to that from that one. But yeah, I totally understand it. We were talking about the crazy fucking uncles and brothers,
Mhm.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid, and it was just like,
Honestly, it's funny because Randy Quaid played that character like 3 different times in movies, like
Yeah.
the exact character, not Eddie, but like that acting of that character,
yeah,
like
And
not another teen movie and kind of sort of Independence Day.
no, shame on you.
Kind of sort of, like I said.
It
was
a
totally
serious Uncle Eddie. It was
You-
a serious Uncle Eddie.
It was serious Uncle Eddie.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but
Absolutely.
the bottom line is that honestly, Christmas Vacation was the only time I could handle that character. So,
I've slowly become Clark Griswold in my life.
oh, me too.
Like
To the tune, I almost bought a Blackhawks jersey just to get his name on
Did
it.
you
so-
really?
Yeah. There was. I worked. I used to work at Rexall, and I worked a game where they were playing Chicago, and somebody had one. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I gotta shake your hand, sir. That was great because back then it was just unheard of for personalized jerseys. So.
Mhm.
No, I thought Independence Day was the one movie I could handle him.
Well,
Oh, Days of Thunder.
that was he. That I don't think I've seen Days of Thunder.
Was he?
It was like
crew
Top
chief?
Gun, but with cars.
Yeah, well, that was what I've always gone with Days of Thunder.
I
And
watched that when it came out.
It actually
and
wasn't
was
that
it.
bad. It was,
That's the movie where Tom
Was
and
he a
Nicole got
serious
together.
Uncle
So.
Eddie in that movie?
no, he played a real character, a real
Oh,
role.
okay.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, he was,
But then he fucking lost his mind, got arrested in Vancouver,
yeah.
just on so many things, and it makes sense now looking back. So
I heard he hated that character,
Which one?
Uncle Eddie.
Oh, probably.
Like he.
I mean, a lot of actors that get stereotyped into that one, and I've bitched about it before. It's like actors that have lots of depth, but they keep getting hired for that same thing.
Mhm.
Oh no, we don't want that. We want what you did in the last movie, and that's got to be disheartening to any actor who consider themselves an actor.
cough, cough, Robert Pattinson.
Who?
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, speaking of Robert Pattinson, I finally took the time to watch The Batman,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and why would you?
Why did you wait so long? That was
Oh,
a
that's a
fantastic
vote.
movie. That was a fantastic movie.
That was a hard movie to get into.
Yes.
It was.
I had no issues at all.
It was terrific towards the end, but it was a hard movie to get into.
I get the evolution of the character thing. I just think he was a terrible Batman.
I don't think I wouldn't say that.
And everyone's like, "Oh, he was the only time he did detective work." Yeah, except for Alfred did all the answering, not him. So was he the detective in it?
I think he was for that iteration of Batman.
Like that early in his career type Batman?
Well, just you and me have had this discussion before. Oh, angry teenagers. You and me have had this discussion before about how you like Heath Ledger's Joker, but you don't like him as the Joker. You don't like that.
I don't.
You don't consider that the
He's
Joker
a great character, but the character is not the Joker.
So, I think Robert Pattinson.
Nolan would argue that, but anyway,
I think Robert Pattinson plays a great brooding detective vigilante. Is he necessarily playing a true Bruce Wayne? You could make an argue not, right? But he plays a really good brooding aspect of that character. Maybe not the full character, but what he does bring for that performance is terrific.
okay. Maybe I have a different perspective. We have not seen my Batman ever, even remotely close. Ben Affleck had the closest visuals to my Batman. He had the closest physicality with the fight scenes and whatever, but nobody's ever come close. But every Batman has an element that I really appreciated as a version of Batman.
My Batman's Adam West.
And he's not even a Batman. So he's a parody of Batman.
He's
admitted by Adam West and the show itself. He's not Batman.
True.
He's a parody. And that's fine.
Mm.
But, Christian Bale had some great elements. Kevin Conroy
was a voice
is what we hear when we read the comics.
You don't think, well, let's say his iteration of Batman, would that be your Batman?
Well, because he's not 100% Batman. He's the voice.
The video games.
He's the heart.
So Telltale and all those guys made the best Batman.
Yeah.
Next, of course, Colin.
Well, yeah. So. And so, I mean, if without getting too far into it, Batman has to be a detective, like a real detective. We really haven't seen the ultimate. He relies too much on everything else, on whatever. Mm-hmm. Batman has to be this what's the word? Paranoid, whatever. And we never seen a real good paranoia. The Batman vs Superman was on that edge, but they didn't do it justice enough.
Did justice?
The
rest of the crack of dawn of it.
Yeah. But I mean, Batman is these elements of what makes up that comic book character. He's smart because he's paranoid. He doesn't trust anybody.
But then you've got Golden Age versus Silver Age versus New 52.
Yeah,
versus...
absolutely.
Yeah.
Is anybody else really terribly confused how we got from Christmas Vacation
to Batman?
I know it was through Quaid.
Yeah.
Who also was not into Batman.
That doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, we'll move on from the Batman. Christmas Vacation, must watch every year.
I can agree with that.
It was Jeff.
God damn it, Jeff.
Jeff got us onto the Batman.
Yeah.
You dropped the Heath Ledger drop.
Hey, you brought it up again, so let's just.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'm going to talk about it in here after my honorable mentions as well. So, gonna do my honorable mentions here, guys. Violent Night.
Nice.
The David Harper film that came out last year.
So good.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. It's the Santa Claus meets Die Hard meets Home Alone. It's pretty fucking awesome.
It's pretty great, yeah.
I've got Anna the Apocalypse.
I still have to see that.
I've never seen that one.
It is a zombie Christmas musical, which wasn't
outstanding. So
yeah, it's got a high concept that I enjoy the concept and I enjoy the offbeatness. Its execution wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be, but it's so different and out there. I had to.
Well, remember, I'm a Repo the Genetic Opera fan, so I can appreciate a good.
It's not as well done as Repo, but I think you'd still like it.
Yeah. Anyway.
And my last honorable mention is Gremlins.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of on purpose left out the non-traditional Christmas movies.
Yeah.
But Gremlins is a great pick.
Gremlins almost ended up on my top 5.
Nice.
Mike, let's hear your honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I'll mention everything that was nostalgic, just like Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeers. They were all valuable to me in creating who I am. I loved them as a kid. So
I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard any Charlie Brown Christmas yet.
and as a side mention, we'll also say honorable mention. We'll also say Nightmare Before Christmas, and
I never actually got into that movie.
and every version of Christmas Carol.
Now, is Nightmare the Night Before Christmas? Is that a Halloween movie with Christmas in it, or is
Yes.
that a Christmas movie with Halloween?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Corey, your honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions are the TV series, and Although Violent Night was a great
TV
choice.
series is?
Yeah. Frosty and Rudolph and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Santa Claus and Rudolph, very similar to what Mike said, they were my childhood, but they, in my opinion, didn't age with me. So I don't watch them as much anymore. Frosty maybe more so because I still really like Frosty. The Flintstones Christmas, like Laura said. My favorite probably cartoon Christmas special is probably Garfield.
Oh, yeah, that was a good
And
one.
then Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those would be mine. Like I said, the TV specials.
I want to add one more honorable mention.
Can't miss a chance.
No, you're done for.
Okay, fine. I'll make it my number one then.
Oh,
10 seconds.
let's see
Make it count.
let's hear your honorable.
Star Wars Christmas Special.
Oh,
The original or the new one?
There's a new one?
There's a new one. It's a Lego one.
Oh, Lego. I don't count animation when it comes to that. Star Wars. Anyway, moving on.
Okay,
Your
so
number one. Down to the number one.
Did we get a drum roll noise?
No, we didn't. Yeah, no.
That's a sad drum roll. My number one, Christmas Vacation. Corey talked about it.
Nice.
I just freaking love that movie. I guess the more as the years go on, I enjoy it more and more just because of the agony.
I think it's the ultimate middle-aged white man movie.
It really is. Like it's. Have we not all been there for those family Christmases that just like you don't even understand why you're getting together because everybody freaking hates every second of it.
Yes.
Is anybody ever been there? I'm not
No, 100%. My fun fact with that movie, sorry, Mike, was Aunt Bethany and her squeaky voice, everything like that. Aunt Bethany was the voice of Betty Boop.
Really?
Okay.
And if you hear Aunt Bethany, you're like, oh my god, I can totally hear that.
I can now that you're saying it. I'm totally catching.
Yeah.
What was your movie again?
Christophication.
Oh, Christmas Vacation. Oh, yeah.
So we actually are on topic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. You went into Betty Boop, and I'm going, wait a minute. I must be tired.
Do you guys love the scene where there's like, here comes Santa Claus, and then the SWAT team
Yeah.
comes in and
Bust
gets
through,
destroys the house? I laughed my ass off. every time.
I think I fell out of love with Chevy Chase sometime around Fletch.
You know,
Fletch was polarizing, so.
Yeah, somewhere around there. He just lost.
And they're remaking that too.
Yeah, I know.
didn't they already remake Fletch?
Yeah, they did too.
It's like a second remake, a remake of the remake.
And I think it's going to be a TV series. I can't remember who was playing him. It's somebody huge, but I can't remember who was playing him. So
I was still enjoying Chevy Chase even like into
Community.
when he was on Community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he got racist.
Well, no, Community.
Yeah.
It was when he was in Community that he got.
Yeah,
'cause I think he got fired from the show. So.
Yeah.
And some of the things that you hear about his personal stuff, but you know what? Like,
Separate the guy from the art.
yeah, you gotta
you
do a
can do
little
that.
bit of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I had a hard time enjoying, and I don't want to get on the DC tangent, but I had a hard time going out and endorsing The Flash. But I really enjoyed that movie, but because of the stuff the actor had done, stuff like that, I had a hard time going endorsing.
I was okay with the movie, and everyone was talking about how the Speed Force, how it was so blurry. I'm like, it was supposed to be.
I don't want to get.
But-
I don't
but,
want to get
yeah.
on the tangents.
But the opening scene with the hospital bothered me. Everything else about that movie, I actually didn't mind.
I quite like
So-
that, but
It was just
if
the
we're
cameos
not going
sucked.
on
The cameos
DC
suck. I
tangent-
need fucking
Not-
Nick Cage. Jesus Christ.
But at some point you got to separate the actor and the role, right? And Clark Griswold's always in my heart. I guess I have a hard time not loving that character in that family.
I agree.
I never really loved him, but I liked the comedy of it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a character, I never could get behind Clark. He was so too much. He was too much for me.
But he grows on you. Like every year you get older, and you're like, I started doing that now. So.
He is a lovable douchebag. The douchebag doesn't get to he's a douchebag in the way that a lot of us just naturally are when as adulthood, right?
Hey, look, a deer.
Yeah. Mike, you're number one.
Oh, you're gonna hate it.
Am
You're
I
all gonna hate it.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard. That is the most
it's not-
quintessential
that
movie I watch every for the last 10 years. That's one movie I won't miss.
I have John McClane hanging on my window. I hung it when we did our Christmas.
I've got him in
The ducks.
In the
ducks. Yeah. Yeah.
My wife, we were putting up the Christmas tree. My wife's just like, "Is that Bruce Willis on our window?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Heck yeah.
And it's not that the movie has to be about Christmas or whatever it is, even though I'd argue it is. It's to me, it's more about what do I watch at Christmas time?
Mm-hmm.
What puts me in more of a Christmas mood
I
than a good explosion?
120% agree
Yeah.
that would be my number one. If, like I said, it wasn't for the fact that I purposely cut out the non-traditionals from my list.
Yeah.
But I would otherwise put that number one in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
For me, I just don't associate it enough with Christmas. Like I
no,
realize,
number two. I still
Yeah.
I realize like the whole movie takes place in Christmas, and there's a little bit of a Christmas thing in there towards the
Dude,
end.
there's Run DMC Christmas soundtrack in that. So
But it was never the association. Never for me. Like not like Home Alone or like.
It was the first
Vacation.
time I watched Die Hard. Did I start singing Christmas carols on the way home? No. But it took its place. It took its place there.
It's hard to argue the awesomeness of Die Hard.
Yeah.
Like Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, rest his soul. Just
Alan Rickman
one of
was
the all-time great villains.
So good. Bruce Willis, it's so heartbreaking what's happening with him right now.
I know.
That movie will, I think, even more so be immortalized when Bruce goes. So
You know, it's sad to see what happened to that character as that continued
the
on.
franchise, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4 was...
I didn't mind. I didn't
Not
mind
great.
all of the sequels.
5
None
was
of them
not
were
great.
great. Another one like there's.
3 was fantastic.
Well, yeah,
3 was terrific.
yeah. With
2 was
Samuel
just one all
Jackson,
over again almost.
1 and 3 were by far my favorite.
Yes.
Well, Samuel Jackson and Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons,
that
which was Han's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Irons' voice, just choir. Like, I freaking love his voice. So, I mean, he was Scar, right? So,
As much as I love number 3, it's number 1's always going to be the best.
Yeah.
Right?
although William Sadler was really good in the second one.
He was.
Hey Zeus. Why do you keep calling me Jesus? That's what the guy called you, Jesus. No, he said, "Hey Zeus," as in the god. Hey Zeus, and I just
As in,
Yeah,
like,
lightning
shove a
bolts
lightning bolt up your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm really looking forward to Die Hard's on our list to do. I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Oh, it's gonna be so much
I
fun.
love that movie.
We can easily fill up an hour on that movie. So,
Yippee Kiyay, motherfuckers! Yippee Kiyay, motherfuckers! All of you.
thanks, man.
Corey, you're number 1.
Number 1, I know Mike said it, but my number 1 always will be till the end of time. Scrooged.
Yeah.
The story is amazing. Like I said, the modern retelling is amazing. Bill Murray is amazing. All the supporting actors are amazing. Like there's no, in my opinion, no flaw in that movie.
Who is the cabbie? I was trying to figure it out earlier.
It always looked like Benicio del Toro, but
Yeah,
it's
is
not.
it not?
It does.
No.
Look, no, he's way. I think he's too old to be Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, because
maybe.
but the
it
name.
is
I think I
Benicio
saw
del
the
Toro.
name. No, it's not. I checked because that's what I thought it was.
Mhm.
But I saw the name, but it didn't ring a bell. So
I love the cabbie.
Cabbie, Carol Kane as the fairy was
Oh,
so
yeah.
fucking funny.
Yeah.
Uppercuts him with a toaster, kicks him in the butt. It's like, fine, slap me, but you kick me in the butt, and she grabs his lip.
David Johannesson.
Yeah, see?
Hansen.
I don't think I know him.
Uh,
Anything else he's in that we might know of?
no.
Yeah.
Car 54, where are you?
That's a little before my time.
Nick and Jane, The Deli, The Tick Code, 200 Cigarettes. Remember that one. Campfire Stories. Searching for the Wrong Eve to Jesus.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, between Karen Allen and her gorgeous smile, between like everybody's so good. Like that movie is such an emotional ride for me that like hearing him go off at the end, his tangent, which when I brought that movie into the theater that one year, I was so glad that I got to see that movie in the theater, just to see that ending in the theater. Because he calls out, like, he breaks the fourth wall at the end there. And because he's saying, like, you know, the one in the theater, the one that's making all that noise and all that stuff. So he totally breaks the fourth wall at the end of the movie. And it's just so emotional. Like, it's not sad. It's just emotional. And
Actually,
so good.
the most emotional point in that movie is when Bill Murray's character runs into that guy Frozen.
Oh
Yeah, that was just like, oh my god!
What
I'm
are you
not supposed to
doing,
cry
you
in a
idiot?
comedy like this.
Yeah, no.
Why didn't you go warm up, you idiot?
Yeah.
Like, it just
Yeah, that was rough.
Herman, that was his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a great episode, guys.
Oh, I wonder what changed from our normal episodes.
We all have good episodes. This is a great. I think honestly, like that, how our top 5 horror villains was number 1. When we do these
Let's
top
talk-
5s, we have a great time.
Yeah, we should do more top 5s.
I think
agreed.
so.
We could, and I think we could explore that. Like I said, we could do the top 5 Samuel Jackson movies, or the top 5. This is an idea.
I'm really looking forward to doing more. Should it die, or what genre is it? But
Oh God, yeah.
But guys, we must bid you adieu.
Yeah.
Mike, what you got going on, buddy?
Well, I get to play Santa Claus for New Edge, which is
For
kind of
New
cool.
Edge, really?
Yeah, they have a Christmas party. They seen a picture of me. I'm gonna go Friday and get my beard bleached. See how that
really?
works out. Yeah, I actually
You're
am.
just diving right in.
I'm
eh?
just gonna see what happens. I shave it off anyway and whatever. So we'll see how that works out. Look forward to next year with Infinite Imagination. We're starting up Shakespeare classes, which is going to lead into hopefully performance of Midsummer Night's Dream and many other things. Infinite Imagination, all your entertainment needs.
Corey, you want to give your spiel?
All right. Really want to thank everybody who's been following me on social media, and by me I mean us.
We're just about at 200 listens,
Yeah, no,
which is a huge milestone for us.
It's pretty fantastic for a bunch of like ragtag guys that have no social influence in the world to actually get that. I think,
Mike's kind of a big deal.
yeah, Mike's pretty awesome. But I think
I like to tell my wife that I'm a big deal too, but like Mike's legitimately a bit of a big deal.
see, I had this bounced off me back in the day when I was working at Blockbuster about doing this, but nobody ever committed. So when you approached me on this, Jeff, I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. I'm so excited. And honestly, this is like the biggest camaraderie thing I've ever done. And that says a lot because I've done a lot of shit.
It's the closest thing to being on a sports team.
I mean, I played sports, but
Oh, okay.
This is the perfect way to be in sports without all the agony of
we
training.
can be balding, fat, white guys and still be somebody.
This is the perfect sport, guys. This is...
Yeah.
Hit us up. Obviously, Spotify. Take a listen to our other ones too if you haven't already. Like, I know we get a lot of new listeners. Take a listen. We have a lot of fun. We will be going on forever. We will die doing this. We will probably have a heart attack and die on air. Just so you know.
We'll be doing the podcast at your funeral.
Yeah,
Okay. Like,
do it.
today we're gonna.
And I
do...
promise you, we'll cut off your head and take your skull and do Hamlet with it.
Excellent.
We're gonna do the Terminator 57 at your thing because you're just going to hate that.
Jeff, how about you? What's going on there?
Public service announcements. Stop with the flushable wipes and grease in the sewer, people. Okay?
Flushing grease?
Yes. People flush grease into sewers. And yes.
Like down the sink kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, you boil hot water?
And the flushable wipes.
Oh, okay.
No more of that in the sewers, people.
So the
flushable wipes are not flushable.
Yes. Flushable wipes are not flushable.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry December 3rd.
Yeah.
It's like festive in here.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
I need a Yipee Kiyay, motherfucker.
Yipee Kiyay, motherfucker!
Is that it?